So
I'm curious. Accidental segue. How did you two meet?
At a grocery store,
At a,
actually.
did he?
Yeah.
I watched an episode of Happy Days where Richie Cunningham would ram people's carts as a way of meeting them. Was that his big move?
That's
No.
exactly what happened. She had her cart of organic meats and vegetables. I had my high carb diet in there, and I just rammed her from the side. And
I thought,
We
what an
met.
asshole.
yeah, she thought, what the dick. And then I proved that point.
How did you? So did you begin talking to her, Taylor, at the grocery store?
I initiated contact with her.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't talk to people.
Did you?
She's
Please
very
tell
quiet.
me it began by like stalking and following her around from aisle to aisle.
Well, it was late at night. She was sleeping.
you had
I
to
was
make sure she
breathing
had a-
heavily on her window, knocking ever
gotta-
so silently,
Well,
making
yeah,
kissy faces.
you gotta like stalk her a little to make sure she's got all her fingers and both ears and everything.
No
like,
ring.
Yes,
Absolutely, yes. Well, the no ring thing was more of a ancillary detail. I was more looking to make sure that she wasn't deformed, retarded, things like that. And
Yeah.
she isn't.
Well
She's
done.
got me fooled now.
You're like, boy,
But
that sounds like, boy, no history of mental retardation or deformity. Very nice. I love that.
So
That's good to know.
So you spotted her grocery shopping, and would you go past her aisle once or twice to get a look or two?
I don't know why you said grocery shopping. That's not how we met.
This is great. How did you? It was Tinder.
What?
Please tell me it was Tinder.
No, it wasn't Tinder. It was
Twitter.
Twitter.
I nailed it.
Tinder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she actually learned who I was because she used to enjoy, as far as I can tell, Kyle's videos of guns and shooting because she's a big gun enthusiast.
Okay.
A couple of gun enthusiasts, and she listened to PKA and she thought, my God, this handsome, hilarious devil is on every so often, and I need to learn more.
No,
about
I'm
him.
on every
no,
show.
You can do videos then.
This handsome, as I can imagine, hilarious devil. His audio is excellent, and that's what she thought. And so she reached out to me on Twitter and was talking to me about.
No, not quite.
Not quite.
Not
then
quite.
You tell the story then.
Yeah, because that is my side of the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Don't, you
No,
love, don't you love this Genesis story, Woody? Without you and I, they would have never gotten together. You see that, right?
Ah.
Without my videos and our podcast, never would have happened.
No, I came across the prank
True.
calls with like early PKA episode prank calls with Kyle playing FPS Russia, whatnot. And I was like, oh, these are funny. And then I came across the podcast that way, and then they were on like Podbean
Yeah.
back then. There was no video. And Taylor was a guest at one point, and he's the only guest that I was like, oh, like this guy's funny. I'll start listening to his videos because I liked video games and zombies. So I listened to his videos, and then I tweeted at you a question at one point, and I didn't like his answer in his video. I was like, oh, what an asshole. Like, I'm not going to listen to him anymore. Listening to him for an entire summer. And I was like, oh, I'm done. I am done with this guy. And, or at least listening to you. And then at the end of the summer, I was like, oh, let's see what Taylor's up to.
Can I ask
And
what the question and answer was that turned you off so
I don't
much?
recall, but
I don't remember,
I used to
but it was a
tweet out-
snarky answer. And I was
Oh.
like,
That
"You
sounds
fucking
completely possible.
me being snarky, that's fucking ridiculous. No, but I used to tweet out all the time. I mean, I know Kyle follows me on Twitter, so he knows I would just tweet out like, give me some topics for a video because I'm not going to come up with my own. That's for peons. And so I have people send me questions and whatnot. And I guess that you sent me a question that I responded to in a cunty way.
Yeah. I was like, oh, so you think you're smart?
He
do.
does, yes.
But
Anyways, I tweeted another question at you about school because I also studied psychology in college. So I just started asking you about that. And it wasn't, but later that afternoon, we were messaging each other on Skype. And then Skyped for like 7 hours or something.
See,
like that.
because I immediately because she tweeted me about, because I posted something about I was taking a neuroscience class at the time, and I posted a picture of my textbook.
No, I
and-
asked you what textbook you were using.
Oh, well, then she asked me what I was in textbook I was using, and then I posted a picture of it, and we started getting into conversation, and before I knew it, we were talking like in text, but I still didn't believe it because I knew the internet and how ridiculous it can be, and so I assumed that she was a big fat fucking man in, Kentucky,
Catfishing you.
masturbating while he was talking to me. And
I'm
so
still catfishing you.
She's very good.
Leroy!
So we kept talking that way, and then when we finally video Skyped, I was like, all right, this is the same woman in the picture, the same attractive lady, and not some big fat fuck in Kentucky. So we got that.
So
way.
you-
But yeah, it is because of you guys and your excellent podcast.
You moved to the Boise
for us.
area. I'm going to make this up. 9 months ago, something like that. When did you move out there?
Bit longer than that, but yeah.
Did you guys see each other much in person before that move?
Yeah, we had. Yeah, a few times before that. We'd hung out for a number of weeks.
So this was actually kind of a bold move there. Like you guys, it's not like you were together
Not really.
daily before he decided to move over.
It wasn't. I don't think it was that bold. Well, yes, from an outsider's perspective, it was bold, but not
You
as
just
much
knew.
as we have in common.
Yeah, you just
We
knew
do-
it was
we-
too good.
But
We have a weird amount of shit in common. Like
Like what?
A weird amount of everything.
just
Example.
the same sense of
What'd you
humor.
say we don't have in common? We don't.
Genitals.
Yes, genitals.
Yeah, that's like we
they're totally
get
different.
along really well.
I'm not as social. That's the other thing.
That's the main thing. Difference between us is I've always been the social butterfly. I just love to talk and
I
just be
like
the
to
center of
find
attention.
people on the internet and stalk them.
She did. It's true.
Everyone needs a
Yeah,
hobby.
an extrovert feels like they get their attention. They get their energy from people being around them, and an introvert feels like it drains them. It's it's different thing.
Kyle, you're probably like that as well. Like you like being the center of attention. You like being out there talking to people.
I can go both
I bet I
ways.
could describe him better. I think that Kyle likes it, but there's a timer on it too. Come 2 hours into it, he's ready to get out of there. It's had enough.
It depends. It depends the situation. If you mean center of the attention, like we're doing, I'm signing autographs or something, like I don't care for that so much. That's a weird situation because oftentimes the way people approach me with those things are either way too familiar or way too like oh my god, I can't believe I'm here with you. So they're either one end of the spectrum or the other. It's
Your
rare that you
opinion
get
of
someone who
yourself is
knows.
not as high as their opinion of you, and there's like a mismatch there.
Yeah. So that'll happen. But if I'm like, I don't know, if I'm entertaining a group of friends or something and telling a story, like, yeah, sure, that's great. I like to do a little performance there. I've always talked with my hands and, gotten really descriptive and felt like I was a good storyteller. My dad always told stories about stuff, and he was always really good about telling the story. There was one where he was a window washer. That was his job he had when in his early 20s. And the window washer device, the thing you stand on, that goes up the side of the building, that you stand on to do the squeegeeing and such. It wasn't one of those metal caged in ones. It's really safe and automatic. It was a board. It was a 2x6 doubled up. And on either side, it had a winch, and you had to like winch one end of it up pretty hard and then winch the other end up. And that's how you walked up the building. And it just had some
safe.
basic
bracing. And he's just talking about the ropes creaking and the boards warped in one spot, and you're up there 4 stories, and just I don't know. I like being the center of attention sometimes.
Yeah. So when I go to YouTube gatherings, there's usually someone there who's a better center of attention than me. Right? I think Kyle's a better center than me. Like Syndicate, you guys know him, the YouTuber, live streamer. Whenever I'm in the same room as him, it kind of feels like his star is a little brighter or something. He's just good at being the center of attention. But you put me in your typical fucking like Thanksgiving or high school graduation, I'm a star. Like amongst regular people, my stories are good, and it's fun to be like, it's fun to be that guy that like everyone's paying attention to. I can dominate a book club, but
You kept you mentioned that before about being in IT. where like all the IT guys, you are just the belle of the ball in the IT world. Just everybody's like, oh, back off. This is Woody's gamer tag. He's got a few tales for you. Woody, tell him about that time that you reformatted the server.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
my God.
They'd always have me like, all right, now Woody's gonna present, and I'd be like, amongst computer programmers, I'm a stand-up comic, you know. And then, like, it would just tell like, all right, everyone's gonna talk about what they're thankful for this year, and I would just go on about funny shit, and the room is rolling, and another thing amongst IT professionals. I don't know, especially in my 30s, whatever, it gets stolen from you. But I was an elite information technology athlete. We would like they did this competition once where it was like an IT field day, and they brought in all these like carnival rides or something, like rock climbing. We had these boxing gloves. But each glove was like as big as a human torso that you box with. Nobody could hang with me. I am just kicking sysadmin after computer programmer after web designer's ass. Just light them up.
All pumped up. Come on, Patel, let's go. Come on.
Right?
So you were just beating the shit out of like Chandelar, the 110-pound
Srinivas, Atul, like Mundabi. None of them could hang with me. And there were other guys too, like even like the other athletic IT guys. Not on my level. Oh no. If there were 8 events, I got like 6 first places and nothing worse than third. I am an elite information technology athlete. You're in the presence of one right now. And yeah, it was. I used to brag, like when I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff, I'd goof off like, I'm the toughest guy in Cisco IT. I think I could take it. I think I could take everybody.
The toughest guy in Cisco IT.
I really think so.
What a feat.
Yeah. And yes, that stuff is fun. It's a big fish, little pool.